All right, good morning and happy race day. We're finally getting our picks video out. Was doing a little bit of traveling again this weekend, so a little bit later than I wanted to, but nonetheless, still wanted to get a video out there before the slate locks. If you haven't already, we did post a quick race preview and initial thoughts video early in the week, just kind of going over our strategy, kind of the reasoning behind some of the drivers that we're going to like today, or how we really want to construct our lineup. So if you haven't already, or if you think that might be helpful, it's on our channel. But if you're just here for the picks, hey, Andrew, just tell me who to play. Well, that's what this video is going to be about. So a really interesting qualifying grid. A lot of drivers are kind of spread out all over the place. Should make it for a really interesting slate. I think there's a lot of different ways you could go today. But again, one thing to keep in mind is there's only 109 laps. So our big focus is place differential, but it's a little bit different than like a super speedway race. Like, yes, you still want to prioritize drivers who have place differential upside, but it's not just a stack the back mentality. We're still going to want some drivers who are running up front, who are going to stay up front and most likely have a chance to lead laps. So looking at this top range, you got Elliott, Reddick, Larson, and Hamlin. Now, Reddick has probably the highest chance, most likely chance to be a lap leader just because of where he starts. He starts closer to the front of the field. It's less cars for him to pass. The only downside with Reddick is he doesn't have as much place differential as these other plays. So if you are playing Reddick, you're playing Reddick assuming that, hey, he has one of the best cars today. He's going to get out front. He's going to lead laps. He's going to lead a majority of this race. The nice thing about Reddick and Elliott, for that matter, are both of them, Reddick isn't in the playoffs anymore, so he's not points racing. He's only going for the win. And on the flip side, Elliott also isn't points racing because he won last week at Talladega. So he is already locked into the round of 8. So he can automatically go for the win too. So those would be two drivers I like a lot just for the narrative of they don't really need points. They don't care about points. I'd say Elliott gives you a little bit more place differential starting ninth, but I think Reddick gives you a little bit more of a likelihood chance of leading laps. But again, leading laps isn't too important for us. It's more about what type of place differential can you offer us and where are you going to finish on the slate. So between the two of them, I would give the nod to Elliott there just because he gives you a little bit more place differential upside. We know how good Elliott is at this Roval. But a driver who offers you a lot of place differential upside in this 10K range would be Larson. So I probably like Larson even more than Elliott and Reddick, just because I think Larson will be able to get inside the top 5. He's giving you a lot of place differential points in addition to those finishing potential points. That's really what we want to focus on today. I think Hamlin's going to draw a lot of ownership. I would probably lean for tournaments with Larson, Reddick, and Elliott over Hamlin. My only fear with Hamlin is the Toyotas have just not been fast on these road courses. So, yeah, he starts deep in the field, but my fear is he might finish maybe 12th to 15th. I think that potentially could be his upside, kind of get capped there. That's my fear with the Toyotas. Now, the Roval is a little bit of a different animal than some of these other road courses that we go to. So I'm not ruling him out completely, but if I'm paying up for some of the expensive drivers up here, I'm going to feel more confident with Larson giving me more giving me some place differential in addition to a high likelihood of a top 5 finish. And then I feel really good about Reddick or Elliott getting out front, leading some laps today. As far as the front row goes, Byron and Logano, if you're playing cash games, I think you can get away with fading both of these drivers. Both of them kind of have to be mindful of points. So I could see both of them staying out during stage 1, earning up some stage points, and then hopefully putting themselves in a good position to run the rest of the races they see fit. But they don't really give you any place differential upside, and they have some really fast drivers on their heels between Suarez, Reddick's up there. It's not like a slam dunk that William Byron and or Joey Logano are going to be that stage 1 early lap leader. So I think you can get away with fading both of them. If you're trying to pick between the two of them, maybe look at practice times or how they have run at the other road courses this year. Blaney's just not someone I'm really getting to today. He just kind of starts in that weird kind of no man's land of 6 where I don't think he's going to have the ability or the car to get out front and lead laps. And he doesn't really give you much place differential upside either. I think he's just going to kind of get stuck riding around in that range today. Another driver I really like, if you don't want to pay all the way up for Elliott and or Reddick, is a guy who doesn't care about points, who has a fast car, who is completely dominated on the Xfinity side. He's literally won this Roval race in the Xfinity Series 4 times in a row. Is AJ Allmendinger. Now, yes, the next gen Cup car is completely different than the Xfinity car, but he knows how to get around this track. He is one of the best road course racers in the series. He's only $9,400. Starts 7th. Probably doesn't have as much of a chance to be that lap leader like Elliott and Reddick do, but you're getting a really nice price discount for a driver who I would put up into that category. Christopher Bell, this team is going to throw everything they have, today to try to advance themselves. They're basically in a must-win. Like I said, the Toyotas have really struggled. It was great to see him have a nice qualifying effort, just not an interest for us today. Chastain, I think, is pretty interesting. He is only $9,000, starts 10th, gives you some place differential upside. We saw him won at Coda earlier this year, Trackhouse, and Chevy as a whole has been really fast at the road courses. So really like Chastain for tournaments. Truex, again, probably looks like a little bit of a trap play starting 19th, kind of the same fear of Hamlin. And, DraftKings is even pricing him down. And even once we get to Kyle Busch, I mean, Kyle Busch at $8,100 at a road course is just insane, but it's a testament to really how poor the Toyotas have run on the road courses this year. So I think all these Toyota drivers are going to get a bump in ownership because of how deep in the field they start. Our fear with all of them is they're just going to, they're not really going to be able to advance their position and get inside that top 10. And that's really what we want to focus on today. Cindric is someone I keep going back and forth on. Cindric has been amazing on the road courses. He's always qualifying up front. He's always running up front. Our fear is now he is under the cut line with the Byron points adjustment. So he really has to be mindful of points racing. So I could see Cindric staying out during stage 1 and staying out during stage 2 to accumulate as many, trying to maximize his points day. The question then becomes, do we see cautions in stage 3? Does stage 3 run long? Will he be able to basically pass all the cars who pit before the end of stage 2? Because Cindric's probably to start pretty deep in the field for stage 3, and then it just comes down to how does that race play out? Can he get himself back inside the top 10? Starting 5th, I mean, you're going to kind of need him to be finishing inside the top 10 there. He's pretty cheap and easy to fit in lines. I wish he was a little bit higher above the points line as far as the playoffs go. So I'm a little hesitant to play him there, but I think he still offers you a lot of good value. Suarez, another driver who might be mindful of kind of points racing, a kind of same argument as Cindric there. Briscoe, he's kind of in the same situation as Cindric and Suarez. He just starts a little bit deeper in the field. Doesn't look like he has as good of a car as Suarez or Cindric. So Cindric would be my favorite of the 3 of them there. I think Suarez is interesting as potentially someone who could get out front and lead laps. But I'm not really too interested in Suarez or Briscoe. Busch, I think, is going to get a lot of ownership. Whoops. Let's see if we can get this back here. Busch is probably someone who's going to get a lot of ownership. We're going to try to come under the field on him today. Just hasn't been very good. I mean, his finishes on the road courses this year, 28th, 30th, 29th, 11th, and 32nd. So not ideal. Harvick and Buescher look like 2 really good plays. I actually prefer Buescher. Buescher has finished inside the top 10 in 4 of the 5 road courses this year. He starts 21st, gives you a lot of place differential upside. He's not in the playoffs. He's just going for the win. He's really easy to fit into lines. Gregson's interesting too. I really like the 7K range a lot. A lot of them are really easy to get in lines. A lot of them offer a lot of place differential upside. I don't really feel like you can go wrong with a lot of these plays. The odd man out is probably Bubba Wallace. Just his finishes have not been good. He's literally finished 35th or worse in 4 of the 5 road courses this year. Now, a lot of that was, because of issues or wrecks or whatever it is, but still, that's you don't feel good about that, especially starting 14th. If he has one of those days, that's going to completely kill your line. My favorite tournament play in this range is going to be McDowell. I think I'm not sure how much ownership McDowell is going to get. I think everyone knows how good of a road course racer he's been this year, just like Busher. He's finished inside the top 10 in 4 of the 5 road courses this year. He also starts the highest of all the drivers in the 7K range. So you can see a lot of people maybe skipping over him, plugging in Jones, Gregson, Busher, Harvick, Keselowski. I mean, Keselowski is going to be really high owned. So I really like McDowell as a potential pivot and or tournament play, or just a driver to pair with some of these other drivers in the 7K range. I think he can maintain his running position, gives you a lot of value for $7,300. Once you get to the 6K range, I mean, Austin Dillon, I don't really feel like he has too much upside. I think Cole Custer is another interesting tournament play, kind of similar to McDowell. I think McDowell, I feel more confident in McDowell. McDowell's also more expensive. But if you can't get up to McDowell, if you're looking for, maybe a lower owned tournament play who can finish inside the top 10 today, maintain his running position, I think Cole Custer is a nice option for GPPs. Eric Almirola is going to be extremely high owned. I don't mind coming in a little under the field on Almirola. Say he can only get up to like 28th or 25th or something. Maybe you can play a Cole Custer who doesn't have the place differential upside, but I think has the finishing potential upside. Between kind of the obvious place differential plays of Keselowski and Almirola, I think I'm going to lean with Keselowski. Feel a lot more confident there. If you're fading one, I'd fade Almirola, but I still like both of them a lot for cash games. Haley Stenhouse, not really getting to. And then as far as the punt plays go, I think Todd Gilliland is the best punt play option. If you don't like Todd, or if you can't afford Todd, I don't mind grabbing Ty Dillon or Corey LaJoy. And even Joey Hand is interesting. He's more of a GPP. He did have top 25 times in practice, but don't overthink it too much down here. If you're going to make your pivots, I think your pivots should be a little bit higher on the slate. Just kind of lock in Todd Gilliland or probably Dillon, LaJoy, or maybe Joey Hand. There's not really too many other drivers down here I really want to get to. The Roval can be chaotic, but normally it's single car spin outs or 1 or 2 cars getting in an accident. It's really rare to see a lot of cars wreck out at once. And there's not a ton of laps. So, Connor Daly, Rockenfeller, all the rest of the guys down here, they start deep. It looks like they have a lot of place differential upside, but most likely they're not really going to finish any higher than probably like 28th. So I don't feel like you should go any lower than LaJoy today. But hopefully that was helpful. If it was, dropping a like on the video is always appreciated. We're only 8 subscribers away from 600. So for whatever reason, if you're new here or if you watch these videos a lot, you haven't hit that subscribe button, if we could get over that 600 hump, that would be amazing. The spreadsheet is up on Twitter. It's at FastCarsFM. Any questions, you can hit us up on there. And other than that, have a good Sunday. Enjoy the Roval, and we will catch you next weekend.